Hello and welcome to the Calmcast, a time to feel calm and think clearly. I'm Claire Downham, the Queen of Calm, a transformational life coach. I was a burnt out head teacher who finally made the journey to calm after years of trying, and I want to prevent you from having to do the same. The Calmcast is a series of short explorations, gently guiding you back to your natural state, which is calm and clarity. Just listen like you would listen to music, with an open mind and curiosity. There's nothing else to do. Now let's relax into today's episode. So today's episode is called Proofreading. So I'm going to start with my little story, my recent story about proofreading. I recently set up a membership space, and I asked some people who I know to check it out. I asked them to have a look at it, to enter it, to have a nosy round, and I was looking for some feedback. Really, I was looking for some feedback on the structure and how it worked and how it whether the automation works and things like that. But and then I was looking for some feedback on the content, I suppose. But what I got back was a bit unexpected. I got back some spelling and grammatical errors that I had not seen, and there were about 4 or 5. When I looked at them, such glaring errors. But of course, that is because we can't do our own proofreading. And the reason is because when we've written something, our brain knows what we meant to say. So there's a deletion of information there, or a not seeing of information. As we read a piece of text, we just don't see that we've missed out letters or we've misspelt words. Our brain just auto-corrects that. And when that happened, I was actually chatting to somebody about it, and they said, "Oh gosh, that's a really good metaphor, isn't it, for how we live our entire lives, to be fair, because we just can't see our own stuff, can we?" It's like when I talk about self-development being something that is, that I provide the antidote to that, it's because when you just think for a moment about the self-development being done by the same self, we've only got what we've got in our heads, and if we're trying to develop that, then we're doing it with the same thinking. So we bring everything, all our conditioned thinking and our beliefs and everything, to the table when we are trying to improve that in some way and develop that in some way. We can't not. We just can't. We can't not do that. That's just how we work. And that then means that we can get caught up in some really uncomfortable stories, some things that feel terrible. And while ever we're believing this stuff that just isn't true, that feels pretty bad. So let's think of an example. If I believe that a person in my life is supposed to behave differently to how they are behaving, based on my conditioned thinking, based on my rules about life, based on things that are not even my own truth, really, because they are the things that I have learned from the adults around me as I grew, from my misunderstandings, from my experiences, that really have nothing at all to do with the present moment at all. That's my story, isn't it? That's what I believe. And when I look at this other person's behavior and they're not fitting into my idea of what behavior should be like, I can't see myself that I am suffering because I think somebody else is supposed to be different based on my set of rules that are just my set of rules. And trust me when I say I am a person who likes to be right. and have been since very early on in my life. And so I know there's still a lot more for me to let go of around it. There's a lot more for me to see around this, because I still get caught up in thinking that I'm right and other people are wrong. And it's like peeling off the layers of an onion. There are many, many, many layers of this. There's so much to see. And maybe, the truth of the matter is we're going to really struggle to see all of that ourselves. With a conversation like this, with listening to content like this, with reading books about this understanding of how we work psychologically, I think we can start to take some of those things a little less seriously. And the clue is in the feeling. If you're having a suffering feeling, if you're having an uncomfortable, horrible feeling, then that is telling you that you've got some uncomfortable, horrible thinking. And it's guiding you to see that you're believing something that isn't actually true. And then from that space, from the space of really understanding the source of our feelings, we can start to unravel some of the noise that is in our heads. We can start to do that proofreading a little bit more accurately. It's almost as if we've taken a step back. We've taken a step back from being in the thick of it. And I think in that space of awareness and that space of observation, in that space of consciousness, we can start to look at it slightly differently. But fundamentally, we have to be clear about where our feelings are coming from first. Because if there's any confusion there, if there's any sense that our feelings are coming from this other person or this situation or whatever, then we're starting from a place of confusion. And then the proofreading, the checking, the seeing that there is a story here is really, really much more difficult. The clarity comes from seeing the source of our feelings, that it is thought in the moment, that it is an inside thing that is happening, not a thing from the outside. And as I've said before, those feelings are like the rumble strip on the motorway. They're like they're like a dashboard light. They're also like a gentle tap on the shoulder from our system, letting us know that we're believing something that isn't true, that we are caught up in a story, that we've not consciously made something, but something has been made up inside us that looks true to us in that moment. But once we have that clarity, it does feel like we take a little step back, and it's space. It's in that space we can go, oh no, I can see here, I think this is supposed to be like this, and when it isn't, I feel that discomfort. Not feeling discomfort of the thing, feeling the discomfort. of seeing, of feeling discomfort of my thinking about the thing, not the thing itself. And so then there's a space for exploration, there's a space for curiosity, there's a space to see through the story. And that's, there's nothing more amazing than having a conversation with somebody to help you to do that, I highly recommend that. But stay curious yourself too. Thank you so much for listening. There's nothing to do now but bring some awareness to how this is working out in your life. Listen regularly to experience longer and longer periods of calm. This has been the Calmcast with Claire Downham, Queen of Calm. Take care and keep listening.